signed however many CBA deals before, and we just don't want to get gypped. We don't want to feel like we're signing something and we're actually getting like screwed, because now we know how much you need us. We see the valuations between.
Hello, guys. Welcome back to TFD. Oh, man, this is honestly the first time I can say it really feels like a strike could actually happen. There's a different energy right now. New clips just dropped with comments from Breanna Stewart and Sophie Cunningham, and you can tell something is shifting. And look, I respect Sophie, but I know she's too smart to truly believe some of what's being pushed right now. There's no way these players don't see how unfair the CBA proposal is. They know it. Everyone knows it. And there's no way they think running the league like this is sustainable long term. So what's the plan here? Are they really banking on Caitlin Clark to carry everything on her back and magically fix it all? That's not realistic. If even one game gets lost, it's going to be a PR nightmare. One preseason game canceled? Disaster. The pressure is building, and the league is playing a very dangerous game right now. I've got two clips lined up for you. The first one is Sophie. We already showed this in yesterday's video. And the second one is Breanna Stewart. Let's start with Sophie.
We had a big old meeting this week.
And?
Negotiations are in process.
To get things moving?
In hopes of getting it moving, because it has not been moving at all. Both sides are kind of getting, frustrated, but I know us players are holding our ground, so it should be interesting. At the end of the day, depending on where these negotiations go, if you give these players what they want, you're going to get all the best players. Therefore, you're going to win. Therefore, your ticket sales are going to be up. Everything's going to be up.
But that's what these negotiations are, is finding where that middle is. Yeah.
It sucks because it's how our negotiation, all that, how that's going, it's we're the laughing stock of sports right now.
I don't think that that's true, though, because you guys are in this point because things are so different than they have been. The reason no one knows what the fuck to do is because the WNBA the last 3 years has been on a whole new level than it ever was, so people are confused.
Anytime you're in a position of leadership, yes, but just in a position to influence and empower other people, for some reason our league doesn't do that. Everyone wants to be the star. Our commissioner right now, even though we're not agreeing on negotiations or we're barely even talking at all, she could still go on other social media platforms and be hey, I believe in our product. I love our product, because that gives off a different feel than just not saying anything and acting like we don't exist.
No, the reason this is happening is because the WNBA and NBA owners are honestly fed up. They're tired of the back and forth, tired of the drama, and tired of feeling like nothing is ever enough. I talked about this in a video last night. If the league hits certain growth targets, max players could be making around $2.4 million in about 5 years. And the average player? They could be looking at close to $1 million a year if those benchmarks are reached. That's wild, and it's only going to get crazier from here. Now Breanna Stewart is coming out saying they're ready to strike if it comes to that. The stakes just keep getting higher.
For me, it's this is the first time we're in a revenue shared model. So before it was we had a hard cap and we had a structure, and you could have 220 max and everything else kind of trickled down. Now we're gonna really blow that out of the water, which is incredible. But I know, personally, as WNBA players, it's we've signed however many CBA deals before, and we just don't want to get gypped. We don't want to feel like we're signing something and we're actually getting screwed, because now we know how much you need us. We see the valuations between all the teams and all the things and the expansion fees, and it's no, there's a lot of money behind this, so don't forget to pay us too. So it's just really a back and forth battle.
Would you say y'all are prepared not to play this season? I know you want to, but would you say you're prepared not to play?
We've approved the strike authorization vote, which means that we're able to formally lock out whenever we want, because we have majority of the players' votes behind us. I think that for me personally, the closer it gets to WNBA season, we're prepared to do it, to not play, but we don't want to. We want to play because we know how important it is to be on the court for a number of reasons, for the people, for the fans, for the city. But it'll be something that's really tough if push comes to shove, because, like you said, you're comparing apples to oranges. The W and the NBA, contracts are vastly different.
Very skewed, yeah.
So it's yeah, the top 10, maybe 15 players can survive without a W contract.
Right.
But the rest, it's like, no, you don't want to go that much without getting paid. I feel like the PA is doing a great job of making sure that we have like the amenities and the resources. And if we don't get what we want, we will sit out. But we don't want to do that.
Are you sure you don't want a policy against weed? Like, are you absolutely positive about that? Because the way some of these comments are coming out right now, I'm sitting here like, what are we doing? You heard it yourself. She tried to soften it by saying, well, maybe only 15 players could actually survive a strike. And that right there tells you everything you need to know. I've been saying this for a while, and even ESPN reported it. There's a fracture inside the players' union leadership, a real one. Not just disagreements, a split. And she basically confirmed it without meaning to. After the top 10 to 15 stars, the rest of the league simply cannot sustain a long strike. They don't have the money for that. But then in the same breath, you hear, if we don't get what we want, we'll sit. That sounds tough on the surface, but in reality, that would be the biggest PR disaster this league has ever seen. And here's the thing players don't seem to understand. You're already in a PR mess right now. Why do you think the NBA leaked the details of the latest proposals and growth metrics? They're not doing that by accident. They know a big part of the fan base is actually siding with the owners on this one. Fans are seeing the numbers, they're seeing the raises, they're seeing the benefits and perks, and they're asking, wait a second, what? Look, I get some of it. If you're on a 10-day contract, yeah, put the player in a hotel. That makes sense. You're just passing through, you don't know where you'll be next week. I understand that. But if you're on a full contract making real money, why in the world should the team be also paying for your housing? That's something fans can't relate to, especially when the average salary is already around $500,000 a year and could reach $1 million per year in the future. Regular people hear that and think, so you're making 6 figures, maybe 7, and the team is also paying your rent? That doesn't play well. Not with the public, not with casual fans, and definitely not with new fans. And that's the part nobody seems to be thinking about. You're losing ground with fans right now. Public support matters. And if a strike actually happens, it's going to get even uglier. Because here's what I think would happen. A big chunk of players would suddenly be like, hold on, I actually want to play. And then what? Sigh. Those players are going to put massive pressure on the union committee. They're going to say, look, we've got to sign something. We need to get back on the court. We've got bills to pay. We've got careers to protect. We've got momentum we can't lose. Because the longer this drags out, the worse it looks from a public perception standpoint. And that's dangerous for a league that already struggles with how it's viewed. Let's be honest. The NBA is known for 2 main things right now. 1, Caitlin Clark is the biggest star by far. She's the main attraction. She's the revenue engine. 2, the NBA has financially supported this league and kept it alive. It's never turned a real profit on its own. That's the reality. So when fans see talk of nearly 10 times raises and then hear we're prepared to strike, they don't see bravery, they see entitlement. Every time a player says, we'll do whatever we have to do, it doesn't make them look strong, it makes them look out of touch. And yes, they're upsetting fans, let's just be real about it. Oh, but not the old hardcore fans. Nobody cares about that tiny group anymore. The growth of this league is coming from new fans, sports fans, people who also watch the NBA, NFL, college football, college basketball, and their attention can shift back to something else real fast. This isn't a guaranteed audience. This isn't a loyal fan base that will stick around no matter what. These are casual fans who showed up because the product got exciting. And if the product disappears, if the season gets disrupted, if there's drama and chaos, they'll be gone. And once they're gone, the money goes with them, the ratings go with them, the sponsorships go with them. And then what do you have? So yeah, every time someone says, we're ready to strike, they think they're applying pressure to the owners, but what they're really doing is pushing fans away. Sigh. And fans are the only reason this league is growing right now.
Let's talk about this,
Because honestly, the WNBA players, the union leadership, and the folks trying to use Unrivaled as some kind of backup plan to the CBA negotiations, they might want to rethink this whole strategy. Some new numbers just came out. Not just about that so-called huge 21,000 fan crowd in Philadelphia that everyone was supposed to just accept as proof of success. Yeah, we don't really buy that on this channel. Sorry, but we don't. Now, the TV ratings for that game are out, and maybe that tells the real story. You can pack people into a building with promotions, sponsors, and a lot of hype. That's fine. But the real test is, who's actually watching at home? And the answer is, not many. At this point, they might as well turn it into a traveling show. Put up a Ferris wheel, a Gravitron, maybe a couple of those little carnival rides for kids. Go city to city, hype it 6 months in advance, and hope local companies buy up tickets just to make a statement. Because that's what it feels like right now. A staged event, not real organic demand. You know who wasn't buying into it? TV viewers. Television audiences were not impressed. And when you look at the year-over-year numbers that just dropped, it's not growth. It's unraveling. This 3-on-3 league that certain union members are trying to use as leverage, it's not the power move they think it is. They put out the number, 21,490 fans. Great. But 2 players? Nobody tuned in to watch. That game last Friday? That game didn't just lose in the ratings, it got obliterated. WWE SmackDown crushed it. Absolutely demolished it. And that's the part they don't want to talk about. You can hype attendance all day, you can spin it on social media, but when the TV audience isn't there, the business isn't there. And if you're trying to use that as leverage against the WNBA and CBA talks, you're holding a very weak hand. Let's talk about these ratings. Yeah, these ratings right here. You've got Unrivaled Breeze versus Phantom on TNT. On TNT. That's supposed to be a major network, real exposure, real opportunity. And the numbers? Not good. Not good at all. We're talking about 146,000 viewers. Then you've got Rose versus the Owls, and this is the game where Marina Mabrey went completely nuclear with 47 points. A performance like that should move the needle, right? Well, look at the ratings. 160,000, 146,000, a 0.4 share. That's rough. That's not growth. That's not momentum. That's just bad. The ratings aren't strong, and the scary part is they're not really changing. These numbers are what they are. They've been what they've been, and this is where they're stuck. And honestly, I don't see TNT re-upping with them if this keeps up. If these ratings don't improve, TNT is going to walk. Simple as that. Networks care about eyeballs, and right now, the eyeballs just aren't there. Now, here's what the report says. A recent Friday doubleheader averaged 168,000 viewers across TNT and True TV. That's down 24% from last season, which averaged around 221,000. Down nearly a quarter. That's not a small dip. That's a major drop. They're also claiming the league might turn a small profit in 2026. Revenue projected around $40 million, supposedly a 48% increase from last year. They say ticket inventory sold quickly and interest was boosted because of the threat of a Women's National Basketball Association work stoppage. And yeah, okay, all that sounds nice on paper. But let's be real. They're playing in small gyms, some of them hold about 1,000 people, and they're not even selling those out consistently. They went to Philadelphia and made a little money, sure, but that doesn't erase the fact that the TV ratings are terrible. You can say whatever you want, spin it however you want, but with ratings this low, the reality should be setting in by now. The numbers are down big. Some reports say close to 40 to 45% compared to early expectations. That's not a slump. That's a tank. They keep saying there's increased interest because of a possible WNBA lockout, but with ratings like this, I think the delusion would stop. Because the truth is, the audience just isn't showing up. And in sports, if people aren't watching, everything else falls apart. Tell me what you think in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.